Hello everybody. Try to get the second one done today. I've already tried 5 times. I got a power stick and they're telling me it didn't have enough power to operate the camera, which I think's bull because it's their power stick. Anyway, give you an update preceding the attack on the car. Here's my pointer. This is the height of the oil pan, this and this together. 2.5 inches, okay? It'll come right across to here somewhere and stop, which is good. This curve's gonna be a problem. Let me see if I can get in there. There. See the curve? It's gonna have to be cut at least straight. Then I'll do some plating here and here and across the bottom. Take this chunk out. I mean, it's just going to be a pain in the butt. Okay. Here's your rack. This gets cut out. One gets cut out here. This is the questionable one at this time. I'm going back to here. A 3-inch radiator will be so right here. The pulley sits behind it. The center shaft of the water pump's right here. This may require additional cutting. Nothing's ever easy on this car for the final fit. Now, the viewing we've had several conversations on it. This will be centered, lined up. This will be cut out so it sits level. I've been told you can't do it, is to install a power rack in here because of this girth, lack of girth. I'll cut this out for the headers, and I can alter the power steering position on the engine. I can buy a bracket to flip the alternator to the passenger side, which I'm creating work down the road because the wiring harness will now have to be altered, which will now alter something else, which will alter something else. Okay. Now, I've been answering questions as people have been posting comments and stuff. Appreciate your info, your information, and your support. I really do. This thing is not going to beat me. I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to fire up the old cutter and go to town. I got to get this bear in there under the hood somewhere. Just a tad big. Okay. And then, ow, that stupid broom don't clobber me. Be like one of them Three Stooges movies. There's the panel for it. I'm really not sure what to do with that monstrosity. We can reduce it down. Where's this? Oh, that goes to the back of this. That's the center one. Because out of all this, we're using the main power wire. We're using the fuel pump wire. And the constant ignition wire here. The fuel pump wire. And all this other stuff's not being used. And I got to have a conversation with my son about it. If we can downsize that, because the only relays I think we need will be for the motor circuits, which will be the windshield wipers. which will be the heater fan motor. Okay. And the fuel pump relay. 1, 2, 3 relays is all we need. We don't need that monstrosity. So I'm considering on doing a standalone. With this one will work. I mean, you plug it in there and it'll work. But when I clean it up and set it up, I'm thinking about going with a standalone, because it'll come with the wires preset to run to the gauges, which will solve another problem up the road. So we could go with a smaller wiring harness and block, because like I said, we need 3 to 4 relays. That's it. And everything else will be done. Everything else will be fused and all that stuff. And then it'll be easier to... Sorry, I'm thinking about something. It just popped in my head. A power steering rack. Why not? Could be interesting. I'll have to talk to the guy when I go down Southern Ohio, see what kind of deals he's giving. I'll buy my stuff from him, see if he can get him to sponsor me. So I'll put his name out there, because he's got some good stuff down there. To put I'll move the power steering pin up, put this over here. I'll have to clean the engine up, do all that stuff. And when I get done, I might as well get a standalone harness, and I can wire everything up. And I'm trying to figure out where in the Sam heck am I going to put the fuse block in this car and the computer. And with the fender well headers, it's kind of odd where I'm going to stick it. If you got any ideas and you've done it, let me know. I am seriously thinking about pulling the fenders off anyway. The front wings, as they call them. And in that pocket behind the dust shield in here, there's a pocket back in there between the fender and the inner car. Is to cut it out and make and weld a box in there big enough to hold the computer and a fuse block, which will allow me to put a door on it. When I upholster it, I can hide it, so it's magnetic. You just pop it open. Your computer's right there if you got a problem. Right above it is your circuit breaker panel, or your fuse panel. And then since all the wires are separate on that standalone, I could rework everything to come out of the passenger side and up. Now I'd have put a seal tight in to run the wires in up and into the dashboard area, which is not a problem doing that. That's an easy peasy fix there. That's just straight up, and then the wires come straight into the dashboard area. I'll probably have to do a drill down through and put in some steel tube and weld it. Put all the wires, the fuel pump and everything goes to the back of the car. There's no place to put that monstrosity. You know, it's not like a square body Chevy where you got a ton of room to stick stuff. I mean, every square inch of this car is accounted for, except for in the fender wells or beside the battery box, which has to come out for the exhaust, if you're following me. Anyway, something to think about. It really is. Okay, this is kind of a troubleshoot day. It's raining on and off. Every time I sit up to go out and do something, it rains. Every time I put stuff away and sit here and talk for a few minutes, like I'm doing right now, it starts clearing up. Tomorrow we'll cut. I'll set the camera up. I'll cut the cross member. I'll cut the fender wells. I'll cut the radiator. Pull all that metal out of there and toss it aside. And then I'll get the flap attack in there, because if I don't take the rough edges off, I'll end up like I am right now. I went in the house the other day and had dried blood running all the way down the back of my arm, but I couldn't feel it. My wife says, "Yep, you're going to clean up those sharp metal edges, or you're going to keep doing that?" Well, I guess what? I guess I just want to keep doing it. Because I did it again that same day. I do not know anything about these racks. I'm about to get on one of the sites I go to and ask the guys, is the chrome bumper, well, that's a rubber bumper car too. They're both the same car with the same rack, which neither of them is power. This one here, all of a sudden, is pouring fluid out of the boot, which means I've got a seal out in there. Which doesn't bother me, but if I got to open it up and deal with it, why not improve it somehow? You follow what I'm saying? An LS with power steering, now that would be interesting. That'd be a comfortable drive. The front's going to be a little bit on the stiff side because of the springs I used in the engine on it. Can't wait to see when it finally settles down what it's going to look like. Sumi Doll's got an attitude lately about being out here. I don't know what it is. Something scared her and the other dogs yesterday. I have not figured out what it is. They were barking. She was barking. All of a sudden, it was dead stone quiet. And they were all just huddled up near the back doors of this house and next door, looking out toward the back fence. And I couldn't see anything. Whatever. Okay, people. I'm not going to sit there and... it's raining again. Good God. That's what we'll do. We'll cut, we'll trim and cut. And we'll get the motor mount pieces dropped off to Jimmy. Let's see if he'll try and pick them up so he can get them on his big drill press. Then I can start making the mounts. I'll get this block in there on the mounts, and then we'll get it welded. So when that comes out, I can do all the other welding since I've already cut it out. This is the part you don't see when you're doing a build, okay? It just went sideways. I'm going to show you something else that went sideways. That's my drive shaft. It will not fit in the transmission tunnel on this car. It is too big. It will almost rub, guaranteed. So, this is keeper parts that I want to keep for now that's not going back on the car. This right here is a 4-speed electric overdrive transmission out of it with the matching drive shaft. And the shifter's over there on the shelf. Haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. Had a couple offers. Told the guys I'm just not really into doing anything with it yet. I'll throw it out there to everybody. Probably drain the grease out of it for one. Make a plate to stop the grease from dripping out so it can be shipped. Probably end up building a crate to put the transmission in and strap it down so it doesn't come through the side of it. Put the shifter and the plate. The only thing wrong with it, from what I understand, it worked perfect when they parked it. It was an electric issue under the hood. Then they started working on stuff and made the car worse. It's there. It's not something I plan to use, so It's just what's going to happen. I'm going to let my arm get a rest. People, this is what's going to happen. Starting tomorrow, we'll be doing the cutting and the fitting on camera. Okay? No nonsense to it. You can hear the rain hitting the stuff. Zoomy, the shop dog here. She's bored. She doesn't like the rain hitting her. I don't either, because she sits in my lap when she's all wet. So we're going to fit this like we were talking about. To get the clearance, we've got to get it level. So we'll do all this work. We'll be making the motor mounts on camera here. We'll get this stuff cut out on camera. Start showing some of the fabricating work. But on this project, and any project, you're just not going to walk in, so I'm going to do this, and start doing it. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on. Okay? And I'm kind of showing it to you. Even though it's boring, I'm being honest with you. It goes along with it. Yep. She just got hit by a big raindrop. So she doesn't know what's going on. I was doing something, I made a strange noise, and she flew in this garage earlier, like someone set her tail on fire. People, plan, work, get your thing going on. We're going to get highly focused and rolling on this. All my videos are going to be about 15 minutes long on segments of cutting, replacing, welding, and making stuff for the car from here on out. Every once a week, I'll do a talk like this, kind of give you insight of what we're looking at that's causing problems. Just like that curved cross member is causing a problem. We've got to make some changes. Why not improve to a power rack? Just a thought, because I got a power steering pump, but it can't stay here. It's got to come up. I'll flip the alternator, and there's some things I can do. This engine is going to be changing up on the, once we get it cleaned up on the engine stand, as we dial in the car, which I want you to see on the camera as we're building it and putting it together. This is the part you don't see. This is the part everybody says, oh, I just do this, do that. No, there's a lot of background stuff goes on behind the scenes in your mind to build that car. You're not going to come over and say, I got a box here, I got some parts, I'm going to bolt them on and see how good this is. It's not going to happen. This is a garage build. They don't make parts for it. You can get parts, like the floor pans and stuff that I ordered for it. They come from across the pond from the UK. Because I wanted a quality part. That's just the way it is, people. I'm going to cut this off. The rain's starting to really get good now, so I might as well call it a day. Tomorrow, if it rains, I'm going to start working on motor mount stuff. People, get your build on. Plan your build ahead so you don't get stopping and starting constantly, and move forward. Have a great Monday.